Hey guys, this is AR Racing and I am Amon Ra. Welcome to my channel. Today I've got this wonderful 800 pp build for you where you can dominate all 800 pp events, including Sardegna, which is my favorite one. With this car I was able to complete Sardegna in under 25 minutes very easily without much effort, even though I was just getting used to the car on my first run, and I'll show you a bit of that afterwards. But first, let's get into it. Here's the 800 pp build. So we're gonna have racing hard tires on the front and the rear, simple as. For body height we're gonna have 65 at the front, 70 on the rear, and we're gonna have anti-roll bar 4 on the front, 4 on the rear as well. For dampening ratio for compression we're gonna have 30 both front and rear. For damping ratio expansion we're gonna have 40 on the front, 35 on the back. For natural frequency we're going to have 4.25 both in the front and the rear. For negative camber angle 3.0 at the front and 2.5 on the rear. Toe angle is going to be outwards 0.1 at the front and inwards 0.2 at the rear. So for initial torque we're going to have 7. For acceleration sensitivity we're going to have 7. This is to keep the car stable when coming out of turns. This car has a lot of power. As you can see, we're not power restricting this car at all. And for braking sensitivity, I keep it at 30. Some people like to have their brake sensitivity much higher. The default is 40, but you can play around between 30 and 40, or even go lower if you prefer. But personally, I prefer my brakes to be a bit less sensitive, so I keep it at 30, and it works really well for me. So, downforce in this car is going to be 705 at the front. We want as much downforce in the front as possible to help us through the turns, and we want to have 1600 on the rear to keep the car stable. So as I said before, we are not power restricting this car at all, and we're just going to have a ballast of 111, nice easy number to remember, and we're going to position it at -50, which is all the way at the front. So we have a fully customizable racing transmission, and we want to have it at 330. I like to have it at that because it's a nice balance personally. Some people like to have it at 350, some if they're struggling a bit on fuel. If you're running an automatic, I'd understand why you wanted to have it at 350, so it would help save a bit more fuel essentially. So we'll have no turbocharger on here and nothing else essentially. So everything else is as standard. You can adjust the brake balance if you like. I didn't really have a need to do that personally, but if you feel like you want it more on the rear, then some people might want to do that because it helps steering the car a bit easier. So anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, let's go into Sardegna for a race. So we are off into the race. This is just a replay essentially showing my run with this build around Sardegna. So the strategy I recommend here is to use fuel mix 1 until you overtake the pack. Here I'm running this on hard tires and on manual, and as you can see it's pretty easy to work my way through the pack here. And I'm also running this on hard difficulty. This is to minimize the amount of traffic that I get around the track. So it just allows you to complete the race a lot quicker. Essentially, the cars are making less mistakes. They're not driving as slow around the track. So you just kind of get more free air to kind of set better lap times, as you can see. So right now I'm in 9th place on the second lap, and I'm making my way through the pack quite easily, getting onto the front runners pack very soon once I pass Grady over here. And yeah, this car was actually quite hard to drive at first. I was kind of struggling around the turns, so I decided to put traction control on 1. But as I drove the car more and more around the track, I got used to it, and I got used to the power output that it was putting out. Ever since the update, this car has been allowed to have a lot more power on it, essentially, when running around this track. So I'm not sure if that's a glitch or if they're going to patch that out or not, but it makes it quite fun actually to drive around Sardegna, because you can set really blisteringly fast lap times, and as you can see here, I'm just too much for the AI. Even on the hardest difficulty, they just can't stop me. I'm driving on fuel mix 1 in manual. If you're driving in automatic, you may want to go down a little bit, say go down to fuel mix say 6, or go up to fuel mix 6 I should say, which will make the car a lot easier to drive actually in the lower gears. It will be less slidey out of the turns as well, so you'll find yourself enjoying driving the car a lot more essentially. So as you can see here, I've passed the second place player on lap 4, and all there's left is Patilla, and we're going to come up to him quite soon. He's not that far away at all, but like I said, I was still getting used to this car. I made a few mistakes, so that kind of allowed Patilla to kind of stay away a bit. And in hard difficulty, Patilla is a great racer, but inevitably he has to come into the pits, and we don't, because we have a superior car which can carry a lot more fuel as well. So, which is amazing about this car. You can go for 7 laps on fuel mix 1. But what I do, and a strategy I recommend everyone else do, is that you actually change your fuel mix to fuel mix 6 or 3 or something, or much lower, so that you can save fuel and so that you can pit at the end of lap 8, which is what I'm about to do right now. And if you look on the right, you can see my lap times have significantly decreased. This is because I've pitted and I'm onto the hard tires, and then we're going to fuel all the way to the top so that we can go back into fuel mix 1, and then for the next 7 laps you can just power out every single lap. And as you can see here, this is really a testament to how much I'm going to try to power around this lap, as I set probably the best out lap I have ever set around here. We're going to skip through it a bit. We're going to skip through around about to the end of the lap, so you guys just can see the out lap that I ran essentially. It was quite good, if I say so myself. So like I said, in first place, you don't need to pit again. You've got fresh tires, you've got a tank full of fuel, so you should be able to go all the way to the end without any problems whatsoever. And I'd like to mention again, if you're on automatic, then you might want to put the fuel mix down a bit to save fuel so you can make it to the end if you're running low. So now we're online with the best lap that I did in the race. Last time I set a 134.061, as you can see on the left, but this is my fastest lap of the race, which really kind of shows the potential of this car. I did it in traffic. As you can see, there's lots of cars in her way, so I only wonder what I could have actually set had there not been any traffic, had there been a clear track. And I may take this car to this track again and do a time trial just to see the potential of this car and how fast it can actually go around the track at this 800 pp setting. So as you can see, I've literally lapped 4th place. I've got Patilla and Fraga left the lap on lap 14 essentially of the race. This car is really dominating, and like I said, it's in hard difficulty. I made a few mistakes, but not too many. But if you need to drop the difficulty down just so that you can get the win, the payout doesn't go down at all, don't be afraid to do that. Don't be ashamed to do that. That's how we improve, essentially. And there we go. I set a 133.741. Amazing around here. And I believe that with a bit more practice, I could actually set a better time around here with this car. It was, as you can see on the right, I got a lot more consistent with the car from lap 10 onwards, well, from lap 9 onwards, I guess. And yeah, this car really was a little bit difficult to grasp at first, but after a while it became a beauty to drive. And coming in to finish, I'm going to lap Portilla. Fraga managed to escape his lapping this time, but next time we'll get him. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, like and subscribe if you like the content. Comment below with how you find the car's handling and if you found this build to be useful. And yeah, take care. Peace.